Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Liverpool Connection podcast. It's Pubchat. We're at our favorite Irish pub here in Austin, Texas, B.D. Riley's. If you're in town, you got to come down here and break bread with all the Reds. Jonno.
What a win that was then.
Hold on. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone
Yes.
in our American feed. Also, everybody also around the world, give thanks that you support the best team in the world. And we have the team, Jonno.
At least the best team in England, the best team in Europe, I think, right now.
You know, we Champions League Wednesday, pub is packed. You know, it's a holiday weekend here in the States, so everybody's here. We had a few Madrid fans here, but, you know, mostly all Reds, and they're gearing up for the weekend. This is the week, right?
Yeah.
We took care of business on the weekend. Now we had Real Madrid with forward thinking to Man City on the weekend. Slot didn't really make any changes, to be honest with you. I think he kind of fielded what most of us perceived was a pretty top-tier team. What do you think about the lineup? Jones in the midfield, Darwin up top. Obviously with Alexander-Arnold being injured, Bradley comes in on the right-hand side against Mbappe because Vinicius is hurt. You know, a lot of switching around. You know, Robbo gets a start. Your thoughts initially about what you saw as a lineup?
Well, I think it was pretty much what a lot of people would have predicted. I think he might have made a couple more changes if players were fit. Obviously, Trent, well, no, maybe obviously, but I think Tsimikas probably would have come in if he was available. And then I think the other changes that he did make were kind of obvious in that he rested Maka and Diaz because of the travel, and then
Maka started.
Right. I mean, sorry, he rested them against Southampton because of the travel, but then brought them in, both Diaz and Maka, in for this game, and it made total sense. And we don't, obviously, we don't have another option really to Nunez. I mean, other than maybe playing Diaz in the middle, but which we saw later in the game. But yeah, I think everything kind of made sense.
Thank you.
You were never going to get, I think, massive changes against Madrid at home. It's too big a game. And he made the changes he could make, given who was available.
You know, you say it is a big game. I think it was, obviously we were talking about, it was really that big a deal for Liverpool per se, because we're in the top 8, pretty guaranteed to be in the top 8, qualified to have a bye, avoid the home and away from 9 through 24, right? But it was a big game for the psyche. We have not beat them, and I think a lot of the narrative coming into the game is like all the players that are on this team that have been successful winning trophies with us in the past 5 years have never beaten Real Madrid. And so this was a good test. You know, you have first-year manager Arne Slot coming in. You have all those players that have never beat Real Madrid, losing 2 Champions League finals. You know, there's something there, but you couldn't really tell that was a dead rubber game. I don't think the way that they played. I don't know.
No, and like you said, it wasn't one. It was definitely a game that if we had lost, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But especially for a new manager, first big game like that, you're never going to see somebody. I mean, I don't think Klopp would do it either, but you're not going to see somebody make wholesale changes because you can't. You'd rather get the points early. I know we've got City on the horizon, but there's different ways you can look at it, and momentum, I think, in most coaches' minds, is always going to be safety. I mean, we all remember when we had basically a dead rubber, way more of a dead rubber probably in the Champions League, where we played. Who was it that got injured? Was it Jota?
Jota.
I can't even remember the game, but then we We ended up going out of the Champions League that year, right? And so you can always argue that if somebody gets injured, if somebody had got injured tonight, crucial, and we don't know the fate of Kanate right at the end there, which seemed like almost happened right after the game. You could always make that argument, but somebody can get injured anytime in training, not even in the game. So I think you just got to kind of ride it a little bit, but particularly when you're a new coach taking over a team and you're kind of trying to really build the confidence in the team. And boy, has he fucking done that, because the confidence in this group must be flying right now. I know we didn't play brilliantly against Southampton, but they're getting the damn results, and no matter what happens, and we had a slightly questionable kind of referee in the first half for us today, in particular, wouldn't give us anything, maybe reputation of Real Madrid preceded things a little bit, but they just played through it and they just kept creating all the best chances.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that assessment, where a lot of the stuff that Real Madrid was doing wouldn't fly in the Premier League, right? They wouldn't get those calls. I don't unless we have Anthony Taylor, Tierney, or somebody that's giving those calls like that. They're flopping all around. So that first half, really a stalemate, 0-0. But we were really the better team. They cleared a ball off the line that was almost a goal. Nunez had a couple other chances, and even though he wasn't he didn't score a goal, he was a nuisance for them. Like you said, the referee was calling really trifling fouls. I thought, where he could have let things play. He in that first half, and what's to your point, I think the referee was more the focal point of the first half.
Yeah.
Than the players.
I thought he actually kind of ruined the first half a little bit. It started really a little bit into end, and it was a good game. And then players started looking for cheap fouls, and then both teams, I think, a little bit were like, okay, well, we'll just keep the ball. We won't go into physical challenges, and then the game kind of got crap for a while, And then, fortunately, second half, I don't know if you had thought about it during halftime, the ref, but he seemed to let things go a little bit more in the second half. And the game got better both ways, but honestly, it benefited us more. And it was just more open.
Let's talk about, obviously, because of Trent's injury, there was a call for Slot to either play Gomez on the right back,
right?
Who I thought probably would have started, but against Mbappe, because of Vinicius' injury, Mbappe was playing on our right side. Obviously, Mbappe's record speaks for itself, but Connor Bradley, he showed his mettle today, right? I mean, he showed that he could play at this level against the top players. He got the assist. We'll come back to the goals, but he really bottled Mbappe up from the stuff that I saw, obviously walking around the club during the game. But anytime that there was a 1v1, he really forced Mbappe inside where he had cover. And I thought it was a yeoman's work from Bradley today.
No, I totally agree. I think he was outstanding one-on-one. And then, but also we set the team up well that even when Mbappe maybe made the right decision. A few times he didn't make the right decision, and then when he did, there was enough players around, and all the rest of the team around him did really well. Get back in position, and when Bradley was high and stuff, and I thought that right side. Well, I actually think both sides, we defended them just really outstandingly well today. I mean, I know they're missing some folks, and it would have been a lot harder if you could have been a lot harder if you had both Vinicius and Mbappe. I'm still not sure they quite know how to line them up with both of those guys, but anyway, what they had was dangerous players, and I think defensively we were outstanding tonight across the board. I think we had a really, we talked about Southampton. I think the entire back line, and probably a better analysis of the team than us would look at and say, well, it wasn't just the back line, it was the whole team defensively. But certainly the back line made a lot of mistakes against Southampton. And but I thought all of them, and it was the same guys, were outstanding tonight for the most part.
You know, I mean, there were a couple of times that we got in trouble. Van Dijk trying to just misplace some passes, but I think we had good cover.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, let's segue to Kelleher, man. I mean, obviously the goalie situation is going to be a point of contention the whole year. We signed a goalie that's going to come next year. You know, Allison is still out injured, and as Slot said, he's the number one, and he's not going to put him back in until he's 100% sure that he's 100%. But I'm telling you, Kelleher could be playing at a top team anywhere, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I don't watch enough of other teams to really, you know, and I'm not that much of a goalkeeper expert to know, but it's like I can't imagine.
I will go on record saying that whenever we need a keeper on our Sunday men's league, Jonno's not. He's hiding.
I may be tall, but I am no good in that. But I think I can't imagine that there's many teams out there with a better keeper in the Premier League than Kelleher. I mean, he's outstanding on penalties. He was very unlucky against Southampton not to keep that one out. And he saved one for Ireland just in the international break. Was it just one? Anyway, he didn't have much, but what did he have to do for the rest of the game? He had a couple where he just made him look very comfortable. You know, just he did nothing wrong, and the few things he had to do were excellent. And damn it, Courtois, dude. Every time we played him, he seems to reappear from injury or whatever, and he plays outstanding. Has a really good save on the Curtis Jones header. Thought that was maybe minimised. I think I heard the commentator saying he should have scored. I'm like, he put it down and low and back against the way the keeper was going, and he still made the save. I'm like, and for such a tall guy to get down like that, I was really impressed. But no, Kelleher's been outstanding, and I think he's going to get the City game because, you know, and he deserves it. And then we'll see when Allison comes back in. I think it's almost getting to the point, though, where the question, and I know some guys in the pub are talking about it, like, does it make sense at this point to, and you would never countenance this a few weeks ago, months ago, would you sell Allison and keep Kelleher as your number one? It's like, it's. I think the question's getting a little bit closer than it used to be. And don't get me wrong, I think Alisson's probably the best goalkeeper in the world, but maybe the difference in money you save from, you know, selling Alisson and all those wages, I mean, I don't know.
You know, at the end of the day, unfortunately, footy is a business too, right? You have to make business decisions. And the good thing is that I don't think you can go wrong at the keeper position, whichever you do, right? You have to extract your sentimentality and emotions out of things, like what would we be better at? But, you know, going back to this game is like another person who I thought performed very well, and I think I mentioned to you during the game, Curtis Jones would be a star on the continent. You know, he just has everything to be a top-class midfielder. If he was playing on the continent, you know, with a Spanish team or a German team, he would rule the roost, I think. And you guys know, and you guys that watch the podcast know that I'm a big Curtis Jones fan. But I think he showed today he belongs on that top stage. I think he outperformed Bellingham, and we'll get the stats later and probably add him to the comments. But I think he was top draw. We have Gravenberch, who's top draw. And, you know, someone asked me who's the man of the match. I'm like, there's different contenders, but the thing is, you could say Gravenberch, but then his levels are so high that he didn't do much thing superlative. But man, he ran the roost in the middle again.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about man of the match, and I hadn't really thought about it till now. But
Well, let's talk about the goals, and then we'll go back to the man.
I mean, well, just on Jones, I totally agree. I think he was outstanding today. I think actually Gravenberch. This is the first time I've seen him make maybe a couple of mistakes where he got booked and he got a little frustrated and made a missed tackle or two after that. I still think he was really good. Don't get me wrong, but I've been so interested to see how he would do after his amazing start, to see if he could, as the level of teams that he faced progressed, and he was still, like you said, outstanding against really good midfielders. You know, they have Modric and Bellingham in there, and he was better than both of them, I reckon. And so was Jones. And you know, and I'm still not that sure how to assess Maka most of the time. I mean, he obviously gets a goal, and I think he probably played really well. But he does so many of the just quiet things in the game that probably takes a better analysis of the game than me to kind of figure it out. It's easier to, analyze guys when they do something amazing, like turn a guy and beat a guy one-on-one and things like that, or score a goal. But I think Maka does a lot of the things that coach loves, maybe a little bit like Henderson used to do, and so on, and Lallana. So, but I thought they were all pretty good, and I think honestly, Szoboszlai, I think he took Jones off because he's going to start against City.
I think so.
And I have no doubt that Gravenberch's going to start. My only slight worry is when Gravenberch gets a rest.
I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know when that'll happen, because now he's playing for the Dutch team too, right? So, we go halftime 0-0. Pretty entertaining first half for the neutral, right? Second half, Maka scores that great goal. It's a great combination of play. He continues his run after playing it in the box, and to be honest with you, I mean, when he shot it, like, oh, Courtois has that, and it sneaks into the far post, right? And then you get to penalty on Robbo. Very soft, in my opinion, very soft. But right now, Robbo is kind of like snake bitten, man. Anytime that he's near the ball in the penalty box, he's kind of tentative. He's not playing. His body position is kind of weird, and as a player, you kind of know, like, I gotta do. And so that was kind of soft. But I mean, if you parlay a two-person parlay that Mbappe and Salah would both miss penalties in the game, you'd be a millionaire today, Jonno.
Right. Yeah. It was. I almost expected Keller to save the Mbappe one, and Mbappe is definitely he's not feeling confident.
No.
And again, I mean, you could compare this a little bit maybe to Robert. Maybe I'm stretching here, but I watched the Barcelona Real Madrid game, and Mbappe is just way the hell off. He was offside like every single moment of the game, and he's clearly a brilliant player. And so I kind of half expected him to mess that penalty up, and then the second one. I mean, I don't know quite. I didn't expect that from Salah. He totally just got I think he was trying to hit it so hard that he then kind of got his foot the wrong side of it. And he'll be mad about that, but that's good. That keeps him fired up. On Robbo, I'm very biased, and I try and check myself on that. But I did think he had an excellent game overall. He made. It's a tiny mistake on the penalty, but it is a mistake. And maybe that's a little bit because he's getting slow, and I'm willing to, accept that, maybe his reactions are just that little bit off and stuff. But he did create a lot during the game, and we'll see how it goes. I honestly thought if Tsimikas was fit, he would have started, because Slot seems to trust him. I think he's played really well. I do think we'll be in for a new left back to challenge one of them. I think probably Tsimikas probably will go next summer, but we're getting away from it. We don't need to talk about that now. It was an excellent game, so let's focus on the game.
Anyway, no, I thought Robbo overall played a good game. It's very unfortunate on that penalty. So we get the goal from Maka. We're up 1-0. They get the penalty from Mbappe. We save it, and then we're off to the race. We have a renewed. We had confidence after we scored. Then when Kelleher saves that and Mbappe goes, then we had really renewed confidence. We bring Gapco on, and then we're off to the races. I mean, we're all over him at this point. Gapco gets his goal, and what a player to be able to bring off the bench. You have players like Soboslai today. You bring off the bench. Gomez comes in there and he shuts down Mbappe. Mbappe's never going to outrun Gomez, and Gomez played well. It's a 25-man team or whatever, how many people are on the team. They're all contributing. Slot has the magic touch so far. I think a lot of things that you kind of overlook. There's slight tactical tweaks that he's done.
Right.
That, Real Madrid, to get out possessed 2-1 in a game. I mean, for us that don't really follow La Liga or Real Madrid, but we know that they're a good team and they usually dominate possession. And for them, 2-1 and the big chances, I think you had the stats up. Big chances were 2 to 3 to 1, and it was a pretty comprehensive victory for the Reds at Anfield.
Yeah, and totally. And you can outpossess Madrid. We've seen that when we were at our best again in finals and so on against them. But they will still create the best chances and win the game. But today, that did not happen. We had 60 to 30, possession. We had every stat was pretty much 2-1, and big chances I think were 3-1. It was 62 or something like that. And yeah, I mean, think about what Kelleher had to do aside from the penalty, which was weak, that we said. It was nothing. He had a couple of shots, but we had players in position to defend them really well. We got back to, I think, what we were doing really well before second league, which was, you might get some chances that kind of look dangerous, but we have guys in positions to defend it. And guys, I mean, going back to the first half, Nunes was, again, part of that, and it's hard to judge guys. I wouldn't say that. Okay, going back to the man of the match shout, it's kind of hard to say in this game because lots of players did their jobs really well. Nobody was necessarily outstanding. There were lots of maybe McAllister because he.
Okay, so who's your man of the match? Who could you be man of the match?
I think I might give it to McAllister, but maybe that's just slightly biased because his shot goes in. And by the way, it is a beautiful play. I mean, we sang poetry in motion because we haven't had that many goals that have come from just beautiful slick passing this year, but that was a beautiful moment, and it was nice to see somebody driving into the box in a 1-2, and Bradley, fair play to him in that combination, and then taking the shot early, I think is what took Courtois by surprise. And by the way, he was nowhere near getting that, but it was because he was taken by surprise, So I guess I would give it to McAllister.
I don't know if he'll actually win the official one, and we're not seeing the Carlsberg official man of the match at this point. I think Bradley deserves mention because he shut down Mbappe, he got an assist on the day, and he played very well, so I'm going to go with Bradley. So anyway, as we finish up, because I really need to go to use the restroom, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you guys, I need to use the restroom. But, subscribe, put on your notifications. We're gearing up for the match of the season on Sunday. But what a marker to put down to the rest of Europe and the Champions League to beat Real Madrid at home 2-0 when it could have been 4-1.
Yeah, definitely could have been. I mean, we had way more chances and we dominated them. And honestly, up the Arne Slot's mighty Reds, I'm taken aback by, honestly, how outstanding we have been.
Don't be taken aback. Just enjoy the ride. Quit talking about contracts until January. Just
As well.
enjoy the ride.
Just enjoy it.
Enjoy the team, the product on the field. Let the executives deal with the other shit. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but up the Reds, man. Let's
Yes.
enjoy the ride and see you guys on Sunday.
Get in there.
Cheers.